Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the wonderful world you are watching from. Guys, it's Jesse Brower. This time I'm coming at you from the tuition free School of Entrepreneurship show. I haven't done one of these episodes in quite a long while. Started this show in 2020, and I guess I did about maybe 18 to 20 episodes with different entrepreneurs from all around the world. It got pretty interesting. I did an interview with a former mayor of Tagbilaran City here and some e-commerce people. And I think I had one guy in the solar space who was Austin Anderson, and he's the owner of Home Sourced on the show back in 2020. But I haven't done an episode in a while, and I really wanted to, kind of resurrect the show to bring Christa Kieffer on. Guys, the purpose of this show really is to inspire entrepreneurship around the world, kind of with the focus on the Philippines, but really everywhere, and just show people, it's possible to be an entrepreneur and talk to experts from different fields and find out how they got into what they're doing and the success that they're having. So Christa Kieffer and I have been working a little bit together in the solar space. She's been using something called the VICI dialer, VC dialer, along with some homeowner data to really crush it and make some solar sales. So I was really interested in that, and I wanted to bring her on the show and talk to her about it. From what I know, Christa is a solar professional. She's been doing this for quite some time, and a lot of people know who she is, but I wanted to let her introduce herself as well. Would you like to introduce yourself for a moment, Christa?
Yeah, Jesse, appreciate you. And like I said right before we went live, got another appointment booked by one of my setters. So I'm looking forward to sharing more about that. But a little backstory on me. From Illinois originally, moved out to California about 9, 10 years ago. Was not in the solar space. I literally moved out there with no money to my name. I lived in an RV on the streets of Los Angeles for 2 years. Struggled, hustled, Ubered, drove Uber and everything to try to kind of make it or break it in that city, and finally got into digital marketing. Took some online courses from those online marketing course gurus and learned how to run some ads from Facebook and stuff. And then I ended up getting a tiny home outside of Joshua Tree, California. Put solar on that, and I was like, "Huh, this thing is the coolest thing since sliced bread." It's cut the power bills down and stuff. I wonder if I can market for solar companies, so I started doing that, started kind of fumbling my way through, and then started having success with it. And then I asked myself the question, well, why am I doing this side of it if I could sell solar? I wonder if I could sell solar. And so I started getting into solar sales. I came a little bit different, avenue than a lot of the door knockers and a lot of people that just jump into selling solar and never generated leads or anything before. And then I had already been calling leads, doing everything virtual, so it just made sense to sell the solar as well. And then I decided to stop doing the agency side of it. It was a lot of effort and work that I just didn't want to deal with running Facebook ads all day. So now I purchase age leads and homeowner data, and it was you that you're doing your free program. I think it was like once a week or something, that you were kind of just teaching people some free stuff on how to call leads and certain dialers and different things to test and try and what worked for you. So I joined those free calls that you did. And then it was you that I reached out to when I said, I'm looking to start building a call center now. And you're the guy to come to. So got the VICI dial and different things from you. And I don't know how to tell people with my success. Like, people keep asking me all the time how I'm having success with it. I think the best answer is I've just jumped in. I don't know what I'm doing some days, but I've just jumped in and went for it. And I've been selling solar before with some different companies and having success doing like 5 sales a week. And now that I've got my own dialer, my own team, my own um, call center and stuff, I'm getting those numbers up, bringing it all in house. So I'm super thankful to you, and that's a little bit of my story.
Wow. Well, thanks a lot for that, Krista. So it's been exciting to watch you take the VC dialer and homeowner data and really, ramp that up and turn that into a lot of sales. It's not something that a lot of people are doing. Some people are struggling and trying to figure this thing out, but you've been able to hop in and use it. So what we're talking about, guys, is VC dialer. It's VICI. It's an automatic dialing software that you can load up leads and you can call up to 30 lines at a time. So she's able to. How many agents do you have now?
I think active today that are calling like 10 or something at the moment, physically calling right this second. I think in total around 30 at the moment.
So she's got 10 people logged in right now, guys, and the dialer itself can be turned up all the way to 30 lines per agent at any given moment. So if 10 people are calling right now, that means if it's turned up to 30, that's 300 calls going out, or she might have it turned up to 20 or 25, and you can adjust it. But you even at 20, that's 200 calls going out at a time, and that's a lot faster than just hand dialing. So with this type of a dialer, it does local matching. So it's going to match the state that you're calling from. So it appears that you're calling from either California or Illinois or wherever it is that you're calling. And it's a great way to get through a lot of numbers really quickly. So what she's doing is at this moment in time, she's mostly calling, from what I understand, homeowner data, and not even having to spend money on leads.
Yep.
I think we're doing some stuff with leads, but the majority is homeowner data. And I mean, we're talking about just raw homeowner data. So she's actually generating her own leads from raw homeowner data and an automatic dialing system. And to keep your cost per acquisition low is an understatement. What is your cost per acquisition right now, Christa?
I think it's under $500 per sale at the moment.
And that's phenomenal. Anybody in the solar space knows that that's a phenomenal cost per acquisition to be able to get a deal for under $500. And you can set this thing up to where you've got somebody watching it for you. You can watch it, do different things. But, we provide the VC dialer. Jesse Brower Solar Leads. This is what we do. We provide the VC dialer, and we provide the homeowner data as well. So I think Christa is still calling on an October batch of homeowner data, and yet she continues to pull appointments and sales out of October's homeowners. What I always tell people is when you buy homeowner data, you don't need to keep buying it because you already have everybody in that neighborhood. You might want to update it a couple times a year. Our Experian feed gets updated twice a year, but you don't need to keep buying it like every couple of weeks or every month like you would with solar leads. Usually people buy solar leads a batch of maybe 5-10,000, and every few weeks they're going to want to get some more because they've hammered with homeowner data. It's like, hey, I've already got everybody in the neighborhood. I'm just going to keep working them and working them and working them and calling them until they either tell me, hey, I'm going to set an appointment, or don't call me. And so that's kind of the strategy with homeowner data. But like I said, she's got an October batch and she's continuing to crush it. So, and we just got the June drop. So the Experian just got updated for June, and that's available. So if you guys need any homeowner data at all, the same kind of homeowner data that Christa is using, we do them for a penny a piece. And if you guys have priced out homeowner data at all, you'll know that like 2 pennies a piece is pretty standard, up to 4.5 cents and even higher. But we do them for a penny a piece. And if you buy more than 312,000 records, you're going to get them for much less than a penny a piece. So if you want $500 worth, that's 50,000. If you want $1,000 worth, that's 100,000, and so on and so forth. Now, if you want millions of them, it's just a fraction of a penny. Nobody comes close as far as my prices are concerned. And it's just as good or better than any homeowner data out there. It's really good homeowner data. I have the Experian feed and I have the consumer AI feed. All of them are a penny a piece. And unless you get more than 312,000, then I do 312,000 for $2,000, which you already get a break right there. And then if you start getting more and more and more, it just goes down to much less than a penny, and you can get millions and millions and millions of these things. So that's the homeowner data, guys. That's what Christa's been using to crush it. The VC dialer that she got from us and the homeowner data. Guys, we also have solar opt-in leads.
That's interrupting you. I'm sorry, but that is the hardest stuff to work with, and I purposely wanted to get that stuff because I have done I've done age leads, I've done paid ads, I've done all these other things, and I wanted to crack the code on like if I can do the hardest thing, then I'm like the trifecta in solar. I can do all the different types of leads. And so that was the one thing that I wanted to kind of figure out how to crush. And so, yeah, everybody that's watching this, it is harder to do cold homeowner data, but I think with the script and the process and stuff as well, it's really just about a numbers game. Whatever type of lead you're calling, it's just call them, have a proper script to fit each different one, and you can crush it.
Well, yeah, guys, and that's the thing. It works if you work it. So, sometimes we'll get people that'll buy a dialer or some leads, some data, I should say, or even some leads. There's people that'll buy leads and they won't make calls. And it's kind of like, interesting to watch because, you know, leads don't work unless you work them. And if you get a, so say for an example, and I see this happen quite often. So somebody will buy a batch of homeowner data or a batch of leads, and, you know, they'll let me know and they'll say, hey, I haven't been able to get any traction. And, you know, you'll find out that they haven't made hardly any calls. And the whole game here, guys, the whole trick is to make a lot of phone calls, because even on a lead, even on an aged solar lead, none of these people are like laydowns. They're not ready to sign on the dotted line. And sometimes people get into this entitled mindset and they'll say, hey, I spent $1,500 on a list, so I need, you know, I'm owed a sale. Like somebody's going to pick up the phone and sign up. And if they don't, then, you know, I got a bad list or something like that. But that kind of entitled mindset never helped anybody get rich, guys, because realistically, whether it be homeowner data or whether it be leads, you have to understand you have to work this stuff. You actually have to work it relentlessly and call it, like, you know, until they buy or die. And if you have that attitude of persistence, you have the attitude that you're going to keep calling no matter what. I mean, how many calls a day are you guys doing, Christa? I mean, in your dialer, it's a
Uh,
lot, you know.
More than I can count. I have to go look at the numbers, but that goes to something that you know, when you say work leads, like we say that, you know, you need to go work the lead, you need to go work the lead. I think that we need to sometimes break that down for people, especially people buying, you know, your leads and lists and stuff. Like to just say go work the lead kind of can mean nothing to them. They're like, yeah, I know I should be calling, but to break it down to so you can kind of understand. I've also got a voicemail drop and a text system that goes for 3 months straight. Now, like the first week, it goes every day, and then week two, it's every other day, and then it goes to every other. Like it kind of slows down as the days go on, so I'm not driving people insane. But every single day for the first week, and then continuing on for 3 months. On top of that, we're still calling people as well. So the way that I see it is if I click your Facebook ad right now, like the more warm lead there is, like click your Facebook, your Google ad. If you call me within just a couple seconds or a couple minutes, I'm expecting that. I'm thinking the call should be, you know, probably happening soon because I just clicked on the lead or on the ad. And so it's probably going to be, you know, I answer the phone. But still, there's so many people that click on an ad, aren't expecting a call, their phone's on silent, they're at work, they, you know, weren't expecting to talk right now, they can't answer the phone that first few seconds. And a lot of people, I feel like, with real-time leads are like, oh, they didn't answer, that was a junk lead. No, there's a million things going on and why this person maybe couldn't answer the phone. So you still, the way that I did it when I was in my telesales office last year with a different company was, as soon as a fresh lead came in, we called it. If they didn't answer, we called them back 2 hours later. If they didn't answer again, we called them back 2 hours later. It was like 3 or 4 calls in that very first day. And then we did it again on day two. And then we leave a voicemail. Then we, you know, send a text and continue going on. That's a fresh lead. And we were still doing that, you know, every day. If they didn't, we couldn't get a hold of them right off the bat. When we're talking age leads or cold homeowner data, these people are not expecting a call, not didn't click on anything, didn't plan for anything. So we have to catch them at the perfect time to get on the phone with them, which means think of how many phone calls in a day. Like you and I are friends now, and you might call me and I'm busy, I'm working, I don't answer the phone. Um, my cats keep jumping up here. I work with my kittens all day. You and I, you know, I might not answer the phone, and I recognize your number and I know you. Think about all the people that don't even know who you are, don't even know we're expecting a call. So we're gonna have to call them, you know, 2, 3, 4 times the first day, 2, 3, 4 times the second day. Literally, I call them the same person multiple times a day, and since the numbers rotate out, they don't know that it's me calling them again, and so I just call until they finally answer their phone. And that's why I think we're having success with it too. Is I'm not afraid, and I understand that it's not just a numbers game of how many people in the list you call, but how many times you call them in the list, and just like you said, like till they literally, I say till they buy or die. Eventually, they're either going to get it or they're not. Their phone's not going to be in service anymore. And I think that's something in the solar industry, especially virtual and call centers, that people need to understand. Is you just call the lead once, whether it's a fresh lead or cold data or whatever, that you're not going to get results. You're going to have to call that lead multiple times until they finally tell you to F off, or they say, yeah, let's set the appointment.
Well, you're exactly right. And that's really what it takes, is that persistence and continuing to call those phone numbers over and over and over again. And you've got your connectivity rate up to about 20% at times, right?
Yep. Yeah, I
Yeah.
started out at like 9%, and I just made a couple little tweaks. And to back it up too, like I've used call tools, I've used ready mode, I've used back in the day, I want to say 2-ish years ago when I first started selling solar, I tried to build a call team and I really didn't have the success I'm having now. I used a power dialer that it wasn't a predictive dialer, it wasn't even call tools or ready mode, it was inside like go high level, and it calls one lead at a time. You hear it ring, you hear each voicemail. It's nice because it is quicker than picking up your cell phone and doing it, but it was just so slow. And then on top of that, I think the data that I bought is it was supposed to be good cold data from I don't some company or person. There's a lot of wrong numbers, and it was just a lot of we didn't even get a hold of the homeowner. It was renters and all this stuff in the first place. So combining a very slow dialer that could only call one line at a time with data that I was getting all wrong numbers. If they did answer, it wasn't even the person I thought I was answering. I had to scrap that whole call center thing back then because it just wasn't working. And so when I wanted to try this again, I was like, well, one, need some good data. Two, I just need a faster dialer, and I paid for call tools. It was like $120, a seat per month per caller, and I think I had 4 people calling. I was paying them an hourly rate, and I just wasn't getting the best success with it. And that's when I reached out to you and I was like, hey, take a look at this, help me see what's going on. I didn't even realize all of my phone numbers calling out from call tools were showing up as spam every single time. When we tested it, I was surprised. I was like, I'm paying $120 a month for a seat for this junk. And then I've also used ready mode, and I think it only calls up to like 12 or 15 numbers at once. So my callers were saying there's a little bit of a wait time that was kind of bogging them down. So being able to go up to 30 lines at once, having good data, whether it's homeowner data or age leads or fresh stuff, whatever, connecting with a homeowner is key. And then being able to have, now that I've gotten a little farther in this game, I've been learning about this connectivity rate, how fast you can get between wait times, these little things that you can tweak. So yeah, I made a couple adjustments and have been able to. At first, I was only connecting to 9% of the homeowners, meaning I was getting a lot of voicemails, a lot of busy, a lot of dead air. And I made a few tweaks, and now it's 20. So I doubled the connectivity rate just by making a few tweaks. And I feel like it doesn't matter. People are so excited for the next shiny thing. I want this fancy shiny dialer, this AI thing, this whatever that I can push a button and just have millions in my bank account. It's not going to be that way. You're still going to have to call, but to have a proper tool. I'm trying to fix a car instead of using a little jinky, broken screwdriver. I'm not using a power drill, and I can, take the screw out real fast and put it back in, and that's just all it is. It's not so much about this thing being magic or fancy better than some other thing. It's just it's the right tool for the job.
Right. And guys, Christa has a course. So I feel like Christa has kind of taken our dialer and our homeowner data, and she's done a better job at it than even we have ever done, because you typically we were calling solar leads, not homeowner data. Like in our call center here in the Philippines and the work from home solar network and all that stuff, we have typically been calling leads with this dialer. So we take aged solar leads and call those, and some homeowner data, but we didn't focus on that because we found it hard. She has been able to go in and take the homeowner data and the dialer and actually make this the basis of her business. And she's got a course. She actually does stuff in VICI that I haven't even done before. So she's taken the software and done cool stuff with it. And she's got her course that not only will show you how to do that, but there's a bunch of other stuff that she does. So if you guys literally want to get a course from Christa and learn how that she's getting, multiple sales a week with a $500 or less cost per acquisition, then you can text my phone, Christa's course. You can text Christa's course to 623-204-1812, and we're going to get you all hooked up with the course. You can also text, VC. You can text leads. If you need homeowner data, guys, we have that. We also have leads. If you're watching this and you say, hey, that sounds good, but I'd rather do it with solar leads, people who clicked an ad, we can get you millions of those as well with Jeremiah lead token, IP address, all of that. Christa uses homeowner data, but she uses some leads as well, from what I understand. So if you guys need any of that stuff, whether it be a VC dialer, whether it be leads, whether it be Christa's course, then just text those things, either leads, VC or Christa's course to 623-204-1812. And we're going to get you all taken care of. You're going to be able to, and I would suggest, guys, if you do get a dialer from me or leads, you should get her course, because then you're going to know exactly how to work the leads. And you're going to get scripting from her that I can't provide. I have scripting, guys, but I feel like her whole process is a complete package for those people who really need to understand how to use the VC dialer, use the homeowner data. And with her scripting and her process, you guys are going to crush it. You're just going to crush it. And you guys have seen Christa around. She's obviously a professional. So I would recommend you get into that course if you're going to get leads or a dialer from me. You can definitely go and get her course without a leads or a dialer. You can get my stuff without her course. But if you package them together, I mean, you're going to have the ultimate package to where you're making a lot of sales. That's what's going to happen. So that's pretty much where I'm coming from, guys. I just wanted to get Christa on here and talk about, some of her success. And I mean, do you want to talk about your course for a couple of minutes so we can know what more is inside of that?
To help everybody understand. So because I came from the marketing world before, the cold calling stuff is newer to me, but age leads, warm leads, all that other stuff, that makes complete sense like the back of my hand. So for the past year or so, I've had this program. I've used age leads, and instead of calling them and like running through the dialer and stuff as much, I used voicemail drop and text drop, so that it kind of came around before I had a lot of assistance in different things. I was doing a lot of stuff myself, and I didn't have time in my day, or to be honest, I'm kind of lazy with it. I didn't want to make all these calls and then set the appointments and then have to like take a day off of setting to do closing and then go back to setting and back to closing. And I was like, I wonder if I could just kind of automate this thing, have something that's setting appointments for me so that I can focus on closing and do some minimal kind of work towards it. So I ended up taking a bunch of leads that I had from whenever I was running Facebook ads and stuff, and I put it into this voicemail drop in text. And within a couple days, started getting, sometimes now with different lists I run, I get appointments in the first day. I've noticed that it usually takes a day or two for people to kind of get on their radar, and they're like, oh, maybe text or call back. But the system basically just automates to where they text and call me back instead of me calling and texting them. And so I've got a lot of people that have purchased my program purely just like that's all it was for the last year or so. And I had a few different lead sources and things in there that I vetted, I used. You can purchase. You can also get Jesse's from within my program now as well. And then throughout this process, I've met a lot of people in the industry that are kind of new to solar, new to doing things virtually. Maybe coming from the doors, but now trying to go virtual. And they're trying to figure out how to they don't want to make calls either. They don't like getting on the phone and stuff and dialing 100,000 phone calls and cold data. And so I had a couple guys that just got my program. I got on Zoom with them, helped them get everything set up and figured out. Last year, one of the guys did 50 sales from my program, just setting it all up, automating everything, setting the appointments. And then this year got to a place where he's been doing a sale a day. So obviously investing in leads and different things with that, but a sale a day just from the text and voicemails, calling them, texting them back. And so there's that aspect of the program. Then in the last few months since I got the VICI dial from Jesse, I just added all of that in to what I'm doing as well. So that voicemail drop text sequence and the software for that, I give you my exact clone, the exact text sequences, the exact what to say in your voicemails. It's a software that you just click a link and it imports into your account, so you don't have to build all this stuff out and figure out tech things. So you get that with the program. And then on the flip side with the dialer, being able to add that in, you can do age leads, you can do, you can even do kind of click to call for fresher leads. But if you just want to, just build a call center, figure out how to get a bunch of people in there and start making calls, I show you how to kind of tweak the dialer and do the different things I've done with it. and then the scripting that I use. I got a cold script, I got a warm script. You get both of those in the program. And then I've got a whole section towards the end on how to hire, because a lot of people are asking, how'd you get 30 callers? I had no callers 2 months ago, didn't even have a call center, and now I've got callers. So I've got a whole section in the program that I go to this exact place, I post for free. I get literally thousands of people applying that are call center experienced, that speak good English. Doesn't cost me any money for these websites or anything to go search for these people. And then once they apply, I've kind of figured out like a, how do we word it, like a conveyor belt type, factory type process. People reply to a job posting. I can push a button or two and send out a bunch of messages to them all to come to a group interview call. From the group interview call, I actually do, meet with each person, say hi, say a few words to each of them, ask them a couple questions, just so I can hear their English, see their connectivity on their internet. But then once I chat with them, it's kind of just a simple process of now get them to onboarding, now get them to training, and it takes me an hour or two a week to get people. I think I brought 22 people on last week. I think out of a couple hundred that ended up applying and coming to the interviews, and brought 22 on just last Monday. So very simple process. Once I show it to you and lay the whole thing out, that's also in the program as well. So it's really jam packed with everything that you'd need to do age leads, to automate stuff, to do cold leads, how to hire, how to train, how to find people, the scripts, the whole thing. So yeah, I think it's a pretty valuable thing for most people in virtual solar sales. And you can do all of this. You can set appointments with the call center and virtually to still go in person and close them in person. You can get a higher close rate as well with that.
Fantastic. Is there any kind of incentive that maybe you could throw out on the course? If they text Christa's course, could you give them 5-10% off if they come at us in that direction?
Oh, I'll hook them up with 25% off. Anybody today that wants to get my program, shoot that message over to Jesse, Christa's course. I'll give you a 25% discount today.
Nice, guys. And I'll do something like that as well. We can throw in a discount on the leads. We'll make sure that we get you a package that's lower than the advertised prices. Whenever you text the word leads or a VC dialer, we'll do a package deal for you. But guys, yeah, I mean, look, Christa's crushing it. She's got the course. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's obviously has a lot of success in the sales industry and in solar. And now she's using an automatic dialer. A few months ago, she didn't have a call center at all. Now she's got a call center. So I just think it's great. I'm glad that Christa and I were able to, cross paths, and now we're talking a lot and doing stuff like this. So
just got
other than that, I mean,
right now.
Yeah. And as you guys know, some of you guys may know, some of you may not know, I'm here in the Philippines. So it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning over here. And so we're just rocking and rolling doing the show. But, that's probably all I've got, unless maybe there's anybody watching that wants to throw a question out there. And do you have anything else, Christa?
I think my biggest thing is there's a lot of people that are nervous, that are scared, and not just with the dialer and leads, but like just life. We're in a weird time because, I mean, we just came out of this crazy pandemic, the last few years. Prices are going up for all kinds of things. We were talking, it was one of another mentor's call that we were on, that we're in a weird time right now. And I understand that people are getting scared. People have been scared, especially with solar leads and solar data and all the where's the good quality stuff and gonna get scammed, and people are just nervous to put money down for these things. And the way I see it is I'm scared to door knock. I don't want to put my time into any of that. I feel like getting in the car and driving around town and going and finding the homes, and it's just, that's a lot of effort whenever I could just sit here all day, hang out with my cats, do whatever I kind of want to do, and I can get on to the next one super fast without putting miles on my car and different things. But I feel like, try it out. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. A couple $100, test it out, see how things work. Get the dialer, get leads. Get my program. for what it is, the investment you put into it, and then you actually work it, or you go hire people like I've done to make all the calls and stuff. The investment that I put in, I think I made 26 grand in commissions last week. Obviously, I haven't gotten it all at this point because it just was sold. So installs and stuff still have to come in. But 26 grand last week. There was another, I think the week before, I did 2 sales in one day back to back. And like consistently have been doing that each week from this cold data. Like for the investment that it is, especially if you want to pay a little bit more and get some warmer leads so that you don't have to work as hard. It's really not working as hard. You just turn the number up of dials and you just sit there and let the dialer connect you to people. It's not like I'm even going out and doing anything other than just sitting at the computer. But I think it's, put a little bit of money in, put your money where your mouth is, and go and start making some calls. Hire a couple people to start helping you do the calls. And then it's simple. Sit in front of your computer screen, follow a script, make some money. And you'll thank yourself 6 months, a year down the road. And truthfully, I've from the dialer, the cost of what it was with Ready Mode and with call tools and stuff, I'm actually saving money. I was paying more with 4 callers and paying them hourly than what I'm paying now for 30 callers. I'm paying them commission based. But the dialer cost, I went from $500-600 a month with 4 callers. I think last month it cost me about $750 for like 30 callers through the whole month. So what's that? For 30 callers times 120 with call tools each one, like three grand or more. So Get a dialer that's low cost. The whole thing makes sense. Life is good. That's all I have to say.
My big takeaway, guys, as we close here is she's making a lot of calls. And if we looked at her dialer reports, you'd see hundreds of thousands of calls a week going out, if not even maybe cracking 1 million calls. It's definitely in the hundreds of thousands, though, just knowing what I know about what she's doing. And that's the big difference. So, when you come into this, you have to have the mindset and understand that you've got to make a lot of calls. When you buy a list of leads or you buy a list of data, you're not entitled to a sale. You've got to go out and make the calls. Lots and lots and lots and lots of calls. That's what I noticed about Christa. That's why she's crushing it. And a combination with her talent, obviously, but she's fierce. You take talent and then you take a lot of calls, you put it all together, you're absolutely going to crush it. So really, I would just say, give her a course. Yep.
And to say one last thing, and I'm sorry if this hurts your sales, but I bought that list from you 2 months ago when I started this, and I haven't bought more because I just keep I'm going through that list like a mofo. I'm gonna get all the data that I can out of it, all the appointments that I can out of it, and then I'll buy another list. And that's partly, I think, where I'm having the success too. Don't go buy a list of leads. Don't go pay $500, $1,000, 10 grand, 50 grand, and then think, well, crap, now I got to go buy, the data's outdated or something. I got to go buy more tomorrow or the next week. Like, this isn't sustainable. No, like Jesse said, I didn't even know that I'm working October data. I thought that I was working something that was like fresh from that day. And I just went and started calling it. Come to find out it's from October and the leads are still good. The data is still working. There's a few wrong numbers and stuff here and there, but it's not even anything to bat an eye out or worry about because there's so much good data in there too. So whenever you go to start, building your call team or go calling your own leads, if you're an individual, I was an individual with this just a few months ago. I went and for free started putting together a team with all this calling stuff. But if you're an individual, just get a list for $500, $1,000. Start small and don't worry about having to go buy more leads next week, next few days. Just work the leads, because the same thing with the homeowners that you're going and door knocking. You can knock that same neighborhood for weeks, for months before you've really saturated it. Do the same thing with the data, and you can really maximize your profits with it as well.
That's exactly right, guys, because there's only so many homes in an area. So it's like you don't need to keep buying homeowner data over and over again. You just buy it maybe a couple times a year and you go and crush it, just like Christa's been doing. Guys, that's all I have. Thanks for watching the tuition-free School of Entrepreneurship show. Christa Kieffer, Jesse Brower Solar Leads. Christa's got her course. Guys, you can see the phone number on the screen. Text the word leads, VICI, or Christa's course. We'll get you all taken care of. Hope you guys are having a terrific day. If you're not having a terrific day, turn it around. You do have a free will. You have a decision. Make the decision. to go out and crush it. Catch you guys later. Thank you.
Appreciate you.